Can you confirm, please, if you can hear me very well? Or maybe you can write in the chat box. Yes, let's gonna start. Are you ready, miss? What's your name, dear participants? Come on, use your microphone if you want. Okay, please. I want to know if you can hear me very well or not. Okay. All right. Now we can see. Yes. Well, are you ready? Are you ready to start? Miss, what's your name, please? I want to know what's your name because we are going to start. We're going to start today with teacher evaluation. That is important for you because you are going to be, okay, here trained by me. My name is Margarita Elsie Giron Villar. So let's go and start. This is teacher evaluation. English, okay, area the English, didactic of reading comprehension. You know, this is reading comprehension because that is important for you. In the teacher evaluation, you are going to have many topics, yes? Do you remember the competence in English? We have 3 competencies in English. So I'm going to train you with this, okay? So listen and pay attention and let's start. I want to tell you, thank you, Amauta. Thank you, Asociación Educativa de Capacitación y Desarrollo Pedagógico, Amauta, for the invitation. My name is Margarita Elsie Giron Villar. I am very, very happy to be here. So we are going to start with the course. Come on, with this preparation. So let's continue. I want to tell you, welcome to teacher evaluation at Amauta. So as you can see me, well, my name is Margarita Elsie Giron Villar. I have been an English teacher for 25 years. I have a lot of experience. I had the opportunity to travel to the United States by Pronavec. Yes, as you can see here in the pictures, I have been trainer for 10 years around Peru. I have visited Cajamarca, Trujillo, Juliaca, Puno, Piura, Quegua, and everything. So this is me. Yes, as you know me, here, I'm graduated at San Marcos University. I have master study at UCB. I speak English, Spanish, and French. As I told you, I have been a student at Pronavec. I had the opportunity to travel to the United States. I docente Fortaleza from Ugel 4. I'm an English teacher at English Connection in Los Olivos, Coar Puno. I have a lot of experience as teacher in UCB, UAP, and Universidad Nacional Mayor de San Marcos II, Pythagoras, and also train English trainer at Education Center Seprosac, AESIS, Lima, Prende, now at Amauta. I'm going to give you a lot of knowledge and also experience and some cases, situation in order to be successful. You are going to be an English teacher at a national school. Yes, I'm going to help you. And next week, I'm going to be in Ugel from Hilo. But before this, remember this, that we have to remember the agreement. The agreement is turn off your microphone, raise your hands to participate, write in the chat box any comment or any answer, respect each other, and also turn on your camera if you want to participate. Well, thank you very much, and let's see. Please, before starting, you know that we have the didactics of the written, okay, or here written text, the reading. I'm going to speak in Spanish because that is in Spanish. Didáctica del intensive reading. Yes, why intensive? Because this reading is for a specific information, remember. Didáctica del extensive reading. Yes, because this is a reading for, okay, this is an excellent strategy for pleasure. So we can find different kind of reading. Didáctica para el desarrollo de las siguientes capacidades de comprensión de texto en inglés. What strategy tenemos predicting? skimming, scanning, ordering, categorizing, contextualizing, summary. So we are going to learn in this course this kind of strategy. Remember that la relación del contenido de textos escritos con experiencias personales, enfoques didácticos para la enseñanza y la comprensión de textos escritos. Today we are going to have some strategy for writing, because today you are going to learn. We have many cases. I'm going to give you a lot of material about this. So let's start. Are you ready? Yes? Participant, you can write in the chat box. Tell me, what's your name? Where are you from? And also you can invite to your friends and colleagues to be here. I'm Margarita Giro, and I'm very happy to be here. So let's go and start. Okay? Please listen and pay attention. Okay? Participant, you tell me, is it okay to speak all in English, or maybe in English and Spanish, or maybe Spanglish? Just write and tell me. Okay? But remember, when you have the teacher evaluation, this kind of tests, okay, because you have this teacher evaluation, when you have this part, that is in English. So for that reason, I want you to read and pay attention to the first case. This is the first case. A group of second graders will work on the reading skill using the following facts. Facts file. What is bullying? What is cyberbullying? What can you do? Say no to bullying. Can happen to me or anyone. Millions of children around the world are bullied every year. But there are things that we can do to help. What is bullying? Bullying is when someone makes you feel bad, hurts you again and again. Bullying can happen at school, out of the school, or online, as you know. We have been here during pandemic times, okay, working online. So maybe we have here. Bullying includes calling people mean names, laughing at people, okay, telling lies about people, taking someone things without permission, not letting someone play in a group, hitting people, okay, hitting people, etc. And what is cyberbullying? Cyberbullying happens online and includes sending mean messages, sharing photos without permission. Remember, that is also cyberbullying. You have to ask for permission. Not letting someone be part of an online group, etc. What can we do? If someone is mean to you, tell an adult what you know and like. For example, talk to a partner or a teacher. You can block a person, yes, we can do it, who sends mean messages online. Ask an adult to help you. Don't reply. Also say sorry if you are mean to someone. You can write a message or to talk to the person. Think about to be kind in the future. We can all help to say not to bullying. Okay, source. Remember, that is so important that we have to say not to bullying, okay? So now, what is here? The case. What is the question? Pay attention, participant. The teacher has planned to have the student read the fact file and answer the following question. Number 1, what kind of behavior shows that someone is bullying others? Number 2, what can we do, okay, if you are bullied by someone? Number 3, what should you do when you realize that you were mean to someone? So let's continue. Considering this question, what is the reading skill the teacher, okay, is trying to promote? Letter A, contextualizing. Letter B, scanning. Letter C, remember, skimming. Okay, please, can you write the answer in the chat box? Come on, go ahead, quickly, please. Dear participant, tell me your answer, A, B, or C. Come on. Just remember that contextualizing is, we have to see, is a strategy that we have to take care, okay, we have to referring to the, okay, context. Scanning, do you remember scanning? So let's remember. There are two strategies here, which is the most important. The first one is skimming and the second one is scanning. In this case, okay, skimming is a reading technique used when you want to get general idea or gist. Just remember to mark general idea. So I'm going to underline this. Why? Because this is, remember that this to get a general idea, this is the key word. And then you have fast reading, okay, of the text, the main idea, but not the details. The third, comprehension of the details is lower. And what about the opposite? And the opposite, we have scanning. Reading techniques used when you want to locate a single fact or a specific information. Just remember, you have to look for a specific information. For example, when the teacher asks some question to the students and the answers are in the reading. So you look for a specific information and it takes you time. In this way, the first way to find a specific information must be accurate. Okay, now, come on, write the answer. Thank you very much for participating in this course. Remember that this is a Mauta. Okay, I'm very happy to be here, and let's write the answer. Come on. Is letter A, letter B, or letter C? Okay, participant, come on, tell me your answer. Let's see how is it. Okay, thank you very much. I'm gonna tell you the correct answer is scanning. You know what is scanning? Why scanning? Okay, because scanning, because you have to scan, you have to look for the specific information in the reading. What kind of question? What kind of behavior, as you can see, shows that someone is bullying others? Number two, what can you do if you are bullied by someone? So here is the answer. Bullying by someone. What can you do? If someone is mean to you, tell an adult that you know and like. For example, what can you do? The answer is here. So remember, when you have the exam by Minedu, what you have to do, my recommendation is that you have to underline. Talk to a parent or a teacher. So this is the answer. When you find the answer here, so it means that this is scanning. Thank you very much for the answer. So now let's continue. Let's continue with, well, the third question, don't forget that what should you do when you realize that you were mean to someone? Obviously, the correct answer is letter D. So please, I want you to tell me, okay, if you were okay or no. Did you guess? Did you try? Thank you. Thank you so much for participating. Let's continue. Let's continue with the next one. Okay. Remember that contextualizing is not, because that is a place, a test that is historical, biographical, or a cultural context. So obviously it's not contextualizing. Now let's continue with the second case. Miss, are you ready, participant? Yes? Okay, now listen and pay attention. This is very new, yes? The last year, I had the opportunity to participate in this kind of teacher evaluation, and I did it very well. Yes, I'm very happy because I advanced. I'm not on the third level, I'm on the fourth level. So now, this is a good example of that teacher evaluation. Number two, read the following situation and answer the question. Joaquina wants to help the students develop their reading skills. She has brought the following story for her reading session. Number one, Julia is turning 21 today. She has planned to ask her friends Alejandra and Liz to go out for dinner and celebrate. Early in the morning, Julia waited for Alejandro to go to the university. They always walked to class together. When she and Alejandro met up, okay, she thought that he would wish her a happy birthday, but he didn't. Julia tried to give clues. I wonder, what day is it today? She said. It's Tuesday. Alejandro answered and Julia got upset. Oh my gosh, imagine. After class, Julia went to work. She expected a few birthday cards to take, but she got nothing. That did not annoy her because employees could always get something for their birthday. Come back, Julia didn't want to go out for dinner with her friends anymore because she felt nobody cared about her. Then her friend Liz called her and asked, "Hey, can you open the door?" "I don't want to go out," replied Julia. "Why not?" "Can you just open the door, please?" Okay, hey, okay, remember the question. No, why not? So remember this kind of question. "Can you just open the door, please?" asked Julia again. Julia opened the door. Her friends yelled, "Surprise!" They gave her a cake and a cute puppy. Oh, what a lovely story. Remember that it was adapted by Ron Child, ND, A Wonder Surprise. Okay? Retrieve February 10, 2020 from, this is the link. I'm going to give you the link, dear participant. I'm going to give you the link at the end of the class. Okay, Shayla, so maybe you can share it also. You have the opportunity to see because in this link you can see many readings. And let's continue with the answer. Yeah? And also you're going to have this material. That is the first question, Shayla and participant. Joaquina give a copy of the story to each student and does the following activities. Number first, she asks the student to read a story once. Then the student get in groups and discuss what the story is about. Number three, after that, the students share their opinion aloud. Which reading skill does Joaquina wants her student to develop? Estimating, predicting, or paraphrasing? Okay, I'm going to give you some time and you give me the answer in the chat box. Shayla, thank you, Shayla. You answered B. Maurice B. Okay, yes, Chupitas, letter B. Okay, what about the other participant? Come on, participant SM. I want you to participate because with your participation, you are going to improve. You are going to be better. Okay, what about the other participant? Come on. She said predicting. What about the other? Remember, the first she asked, what? Read the story once. Then ask, get in group, and what is the story about? What is here? What I want you to know, what is the key word? Okay, Shayla, can you give me the key word? I'm going to give you. The key word is what, okay, the story is about. This is a key word. And then share their opinion aloud. So when you have the key word, which is the correct answer? Come on, tell me. I'm going to give you 1 minute, okay? Take to analyze. Come on, the other participant, please. I want you to tell me the answer. Come on. Hey, come on, please. Okay, shall I say that? Okay, yes. Thank you. Well, I'm going to give you the answer. The answer is scheming. You know why it's scheming? Because scheming is a strategy when you are going to make the students to get the gist. They're going to get. What is the reading about? This is for general information. So remember, that is scheming. Number one, scheming. So I'm going to give you also Predicting, no, because you can predict through the picture. For example, I have one picture here. Look at this picture. Can you see the picture? Yes. If you see the picture, you are going to ask, what can you see this? Can you predict what is the reading about? Prediction could be through a picture, could be through a flashcard, you see. Paraphrasing, impossible. So the answer is letter A. So don't worry, little by little, you are going to understand and then you are going to get it. Okay, now, let's continue with the second. Just only give me 1 minute because I'm sharing this, okay? Now, thank you very much for participating in this course. Okay, now let's continue. Just give me 1 minute. Okay. Yes, thank you. You're writing some comments in the chat box. You can write. Thank you for your participation. Okay, Sheila, I would like you to continue with the second. Thank you so much. And also the other participant. Come on, the other participant. Okay, this is another question. 13. When Joaquina writes the following question on the board, remember, when you are on the board, you write question on the board. Okay? What question? When's Julia's birthday? What does Julia plan to do for her birthday? What Julia gets as a birthday present? Which of the following reading skill is the teacher trying to promote her, okay, her question? Number 1, contextualizing, summarizing, or scanning? Come on. Thank you very much for participating. You are here, okay. SM, I would like you to write here the answer. You can write the answer. What about contextualizing, summarizing, or scanning? With these 3 questions, come on, participate and write in the chat box. Okay, thank you so much, as you can see. Well, contextualizing is not, summarizing no. So the correct answer is, as you told me, SM, say letter A, contextualizing. Remember, 3 questions. When's Julia's birthday? What does Julia want to do for her birthday? And what does Julia get as a birthday present? So I'm going to go here to this reading. So when is Julia's birthday? Okay, got as a present. So what did she get? A cute puppy. This is the answer. So you read. When you have this kind, what kind of strategy it is? Come on. Yes, Sheila, it's letter C. Yeah, it's letter C. So congratulations because it's letter C. Just remember, when you find the answer in the test, you answer this. Okay, that is scanning. Okay, here you have scanning. The correct answer is scanning. Thank you. Thank you so much for that scanning. So let's continue with the next one. Come on. The next one is saying, this is another case, and it's very easy. Please, I want you to continue. Okay. The reading strategy we have visualizing, previewing, contextualizing, and summarizing. It's not, okay, remember that here is not contextualizing, it's not summarizing. Why not? Because contextualizing is inferring meaning from the communicative situation. Who's communicating with who through what medium? And also, it's according to the context. No? It's according to the situation, so that is not contextualizing. What about summarizing? No summarizing because it's not praising the main communicative content. The focus of the strategy may be guided by the test question. Remember, no. And it's not, in this case, it's not, as I told you, here, it's not contextualizing, no, it's scanning. Scanning, just remember, scanning is a strategy to find, okay, a specific information. And also, what is the keyword? The keyword, following question. When is Julia's birthday? What does Julia plan to do for her birthday? Etc. Just remember this. So let's go to the other. Remember, when you have, okay, I'm going to speak Spanish. Voy a hablar en Spanish porque el temario está en Spanish, ¿no? En ese temario nos dice didáctica de la comprensión de textos escritos, que viene a ser la lectura. ¿Okay? Lo que les he mostrado anteriormente son algunas casuísticas que los he recopilado de diferentes teacher evaluation y en la cual yo también he participado el año pasado. Entonces, este ejemplo real nos ayuda a nosotros a analizar, ¿no? Analizar esta comprensión de texto. Recordemos que hay 3 stages. There are 3 stages in English when you teach reading. Before reading stage, or you have the pre-reading stage, you have while reading stage, the second, and the third is the after reading stage, or it's more common to say before reading, while reading, and after reading. It's the same. But when you have this kind of stages, you have to take into consideration that you have brainstorming. For example, when you have here pre-reading stage, you have brainstorming to activate schemata, yes? And also anticipation, prediction of content and vocabulary, e.g. questioning, graphic organizer, visual, and audio aids. For example, as you can see, this is a picture. In this picture, we have pre-reading strategy. I told you, no? The brainstorming, anticipation. And the other is purpose setting, question, statement to be confirmed or rejected. Yes, and also, as you can see in this picture, you have to take into consideration, look for heading. Why heading? Because through the heading, we can predict. For example, festivity, no? For example, you can say people who make the difference. We had from Aprendo en Casa. In this platform from Aprendo en Casa, we have many topics. One of them was bullying, and the other was, I remember, COVID-19, and the other was about, you know what it was? People who make the difference. So through this title, you can predict, you can know what kind of text you are going to read. And also, you have to consider the title again, read the abstract, look for images, review of the reference list, yes, look at the author names, read the focus topic sentence. What is topic sentence? Topic sentence is the first sentence in the paragraph, because that is going to give you an idea what the paragraph is going to be about. So let's remember that. The second stage. Do you remember the second stage? While reading stage. In this reading stage, you have to consider the strategy. What is strategy? Skimming, scanning. Let's revise. Skimming to extract the general idea of the whole class. So that is important to consider general idea of the gist. Number 2, scanning to extract detailed information, as I told you, through the question. Distinguishing between literal and implied meaning. Recognizing grammatical word cases. Yes, because during or while the reading stage, you are going to learn grammar, vocabulary. What kind of grammar? Could be noun, verb, system, tenses, or maybe could be reported speech or passive voice, or why not conditional? Because conditional is one of the most important structure in this grammar. So where are you going to see? Where are you going to teach? You are going to teach this grammar or grammatical word classes during while reading stage. You have also pluralization, pattern rules, etc. The other, you recognize coherent device in written discourse, in the roles, etc. Relation between and among clauses. Inferring meaning and unknown word. This is very important. Unknown word. What happens if you don't know a word? No problem. You have to guess the meaning according to the content. That is important. That is another strategy. After reading, or you have post-reading stage. In this post-reading stage, you have to recognize the author's intention. inferring content that is not explicit by using words, knowledge. Distinguishing between literal and implied, recognizing the communicative function and reading text according to its purpose. Yes, and also you have here feedback. Let's remember that there are 3 kinds of feedback. Do you remember the 3 kinds of feedback or no? Come on, you can write in the chat box if you remember the 3 kinds of feedback. If you don't remember, no problem. I'm gonna explain you, because in post-reading stage you have to give feedback. Come on, write in the chat box if you remember that feedback. If you don't remember, no problem. I'm going to make you remember. If you want, I can speak a little Spanish too through the feedback. Yes, come on, write the feedback. Okay, I'm going to refresh your mind. The first feedback is, remember, is elementary feedback. The second is constructive feedback. And the third one is reflection feedback. When is elementary? When the teacher is going to tell the student that his evidence is correct or not. Just very simple. Say yes or no, correct or no. Constructive feedback is when the teacher is going to give the student, okay, some important rules or to know, to recognize the mistake of they have. For example, if you say, for example, one student say, I have 10 years old. I have? The teacher is not going to say yes or no. The teacher can show a slide or can show a video about to teaching that you can use verb be in this, yes? You can use is 10 years old, for she is 10 years old. So that is the constructive feedback, because you are giving them the rule, you are giving them the answer through a slide or through a material. And what is the reflective feedback? The third one, reflective, is when you make that student realize that he had a mistake, so they can recognize that this reflective feedback through question, only question. For example, you can ask, okay, are you sure that it is have? Are you sure that it could be changed? Do you remember when you are talking about verb be and then you are using H's, what kind of verb is it? Okay, so through question, the students are going to realize that he has some problems. Okay, yes, thank you. Yes, thank you very much. Okay, don't worry. Okay, I understand you. Okay, here we have some comment of this. Thank you. Please, recordemos que también tenemos 3 clases de retroalimentación. La primera es la retroalimentación elemental, que la profesora dice sí o no. La segunda es la retroalimentación, ok, descriptiva. Y la tercera, la retroalimentación reflexiva o por descubrimiento. Entonces también recordemos la escalera de Daniel Wilson. ¿Quién es Daniel Wilson? Daniel Wilson es el director de una institución muy importante en Estados Unidos y él nos habla de la escalera. Esta escalera tiene 4 pasos. Después adelante les voy a mostrar los 4 pasos, pero es de clarificar, de valorar, aunque el alumno tenga problemas en su evidencia, nosotros como profesores valoramos lo que el alumno ha hecho. Algo bueno ha de tener su evidencia. Eso. Expresar inquietudes, puede ser a través de preguntas. Y ese es el tercer paso. Remember, expresar inquietudes. Y el último paso de esta escalera de Daniel Wilson, que es la 4. ¿Cuál es? Es, do you remember? Suggestion, el de sugerir. ¿Qué te sugiero? ¿Qué dices? Pero lo pueden hacer a través de preguntas, a través de estas preguntas reflexivas, y el alumno va a recordar y va a tratar de recordar cuál es la respuesta correcta. Entonces recordemos that Daniel Wilson, the leader of feedback. Thank you. So in post-reading you have in post-reading you have also the evaluation, formative evaluation. What is formative evaluation? Formative evaluation is an evaluation that you do it during the teaching. So it has to be with, remember, diagnostic assessment. Diagnostic assessment, you can do it in order to know how the student is, how are that. It has to be also, you have to do teaching for, okay, remember that teaching for this kind of topic, you are going to make the student to reflect, and they are going to be evaluated by formative evaluation. In formative evaluation, the teacher is a coach, because the teacher is going to help the student to solve the problem in order to the student recognize the mistake, and also through the feedback, and also with formative evaluation, you are going to make the student to be autonomous and to be conscious about their mistakes, and they are going to improve. And also for the teacher, it's a good way. Let's continue the other. Listen and pay attention. Reading the following situation. Sophia wants to help her student develop their reading and comprehension skills. She gives the student the following written text. The fox and the crow. A fox once saw a crow fly off with a piece of cheese in his beak and settle on a branch of a tree. That's for me, as I am a fox, said Master Raynor, and he walked up to the foot of the tree. Good day, Mistress Crow, he cried. How well you are looking today. How glassy your feathers, how bright your eye. I feel sure your voice must surpass and the other birds. Just your feature glass, let me hear but one song from you and make great you as the queen of birds. The crow flitted up her head and began to call her best. But the moment she opened her mouth, the piece of cheese fell, oh my God, fell to the ground, only to be snapped by Master Fox. That will be do, said he. That was all I wanted. In exchange your cheese, I will give you a piece of advice for the future. Don't trust on flatterers. Don't trust. No debemos confiar en flatterers. Do you remember flatterers? If you don't remember flatterers, don't worry. Okay, because the fox is a flatterer. So we don't have to give you a confidence. Don't trust on this kind of flatterer. The case is that after the student read a test, the teacher writes the following question on the board for the student to answer. What type of test is this? Who is the test written for? What is the story about? So you have 3 questions. This typical question. So according to this, which reading skill is the teacher trying to promote with her question? Remember, you have predicting content, reading for specific information, and reading for global information. Just only want you to remember, reading for specific information is the scanning. Yes, do you remember to scan? Scanning. Number 2, you have predicting content, prediction. Number 3, reading for global understanding. When you make the student to read, to answer questions in a global form. So, what is the answer? Sheila, Vilma, Morris, come on. Maybe you can write in the chat box, come on. It's very simple because here you have 3 questions. What is the question? The question is here, as you can say, what is the story about? Come on, you can tell me what is the call. You can write in the chat box. Come on. Letter A, letter B, or letter C. Just write in the chat box. Okay, yes or no? Can you tell me? Or no? Letter A, letter B, or letter C? Yeah. Letter B, letter. Okay, thank you very much for this. Letter A. Letter A. Okay, Sheila, thank you. Say letter A. What about Maurice? Okay, thank you. What about SM? Tell me. Letter A, predicting. Okay, what type of test is this type? Who is this test written for, and what is the story about? Type. You know, when you have 3 questions, this is for global understanding. Why global? Because it has to be with type of test. Narrative. Who is the test written for? Okay, it was written by, for example, no, you can say, I don't know, you can say, for example, mass. Who is this mass written for? It was written by Cesar Vallejo, yeah, the person. So when you have this question, it's global understanding. What is the story about? Well, the story is about this. So, conclusion. The answer is letter B. Yeah? Just remember, keep in your mind, these 3 questions for global understanding. Predicting, no. No for prediction. Reading for, no, because specific information is scanning, and it's not scanning. Let's continue. Let's do the next. Can you turn off your microphone, please? There is one participant who is, please, because let's continue. Before this, I recommend you to, for example, to read a lot, to read different, okay, different kind of tests. And also, if you don't like reading, maybe you can watch some video. So if you don't remember the fox and the crow, here we have a video, okay? Pay attention, because you have to know about this. Okay, please, the microphone. Vilma, your microphone. Vilma, please, your microphone. Okay, thank you so much. Now, let's continue with it. Pay attention. 1, 2, 3.
Once upon a time, there was a forest where only animals lived and no humans ever entered. Although they were all different from each other, all the animals lived in peace. They all had different characteristics. For example, the monkey was the naughty one, the chipmunk was the wuss, the lion was the brave, the gazelle was the fast, the turtle was the slow, the fox was the cheeky one, and the bees were the hard-working ones. The only one that no animal in the forest could get along with was the arrogant crow. The crow did not like to share his food. Sometimes he even stole food from the other animals and flew away. All the animals were talking about this selfish crow and that he needed to be taught a lesson. Being the cheekiest and the smartest one, the fox made the first comment.
You guys leave it up to me. I will do such a trick on that selfish crow, he won't be able to be an arrogant snob anymore.
One day, the crow went into the city to look for food, and he returned to the forest with a big chunk of cheese in his mouth and rested on a branch. Watching from afar, the fox decided to make a move to take the cheese out of the crow's mouth. The fox came next to the tree on which the crow was resting. At that moment, the crow was picking on the cheese that he put on the branch.
Hi there, my friend. What is it that you're eating? I've never seen something like that. Ah, they call it cheese. The humans eat this. I'm curious about its taste. Would you share some with me? Ah, no way. Do you know how far I had to fly to get this cheese? So what? One day I will share my food with you and we'll be even. And why would I care about your filthy food? This cheese is very special. You can find it anytime you want.
Whatever he said, the fox could not convince the crow to share his food. The fox was smart, but the crow was just as smart. So this time the fox made another plan.
Okay, have your cheese. I don't want it. But at least let me come next to you and have a look at this very special cheese that you don't want to share.
When the fox started to climb up the tree, the crow took the cheese in a panic and flew to another branch. This time, the fox went under the other tree where the crow was, but the crow had no intention to share his food. The fox gave it a little thought and came up with another plan.
What are the most important flaws of the crow? He's self-conscious and arrogant. Maybe I should take advantage of these to get that food from him. Hey, my friend, do you know why I really came down here?
To prevent losing the cheese in his mouth, he asked without opening up his beak.
What? I have heard that you have the most beautiful voice in the forest, and apparently when you sing, all animals watching get mesmerized.
When the crow heard this, he fluffed his feathers and started to look very sure of himself.
Sing me a song so that I can hear the magnificent voice of yours and tell about it to my friends.
The fox finally found the crow's weakest points. Finally, when the self-loving crow opened his mouth,
Oh my God.
the cheese in his mouth fell down, and of course the fox was right there to catch it. The crow was stunned, motionless.
Oh, look at this now. Your precious cheese just fell into my mouth.
Okay,
Man,
and you see, so we care, okay? Don't trust in flattery because the fox was a flatterer. Don't trust, yes, remember. So we have this kind, so we can do it. We can practice this, okay? Practice this kind of exercise. And what is the moral? The moral value of the fox and the crow cry and moral view. We must help our friends if our friends have problems. Do not underestimate our friends because our friends are our precious people. Just remember that. So as you can see, okay, if you want to get succeed in your teacher evaluation, please, you have to read a lot. You have to watch video, you have to study, you have to improve in your free time. Remember that we are going to have some free time and we can do it. Just remember, analyze. And also, as much as you practice, okay, you are going to be better. And also you are going to improve your English, your listening, reading, speaking, and writing. So now, let's continue with the second part. In this second part of teacher evaluation, we have writing. Why writing? Okay, writing because there is a production. And also, as in reading, writing has 3 steps or 3 stages: before writing, while writing, and after writing. So let's see and let's remember. In teacher evaluation, you have also the topics, and these are the topics. Listen and pay attention. In Spanish, I'm going to tell you this part, and then in English. Didáctica de la producción de textos escritos. Como ustedes pueden observar, la primera parte fue de reading, lectura. Esta segunda parte, estamos trabajando la didáctica de la producción de textos escritos, que viene a ser, ¿ok?, el production, el producir. ¿Qué es lo que ustedes pueden producir o los alumnos producen? Producen cartas, emails, producen testimonio, como la plataforma de Aprende en Casa también nos hacían trabajar testimonio, póster, infografías. ¿Y por qué no trabajar con los alumnos? Pues los flyers, los brochures, los leaflets, ¿eh? ¿Se acuerdan? Entonces también, y todo eso tiene un proceso. Para llegar a elaborar una lectura, elaborar, por ejemplo, una escritura, elaborar un correo, una carta, un panfleto o un brochure, tiene su proceso. Les decía que es antes de escribir, durante la escritura y después. Estos son los procesos didácticos. Y estos procesos didácticos los tenemos en English y en Spanish. En English ya lo mencioné, es before writing, while writing and after writing. Y justamente este temario que nos envía el ministerio nos dice que la didáctica y la producción de textos escritos en writing, tenemos como number 1 y didáctica del process writing, porque tiene su proceso la escritura. Luego, segundo punto, tenemos la didáctica del product writing, que es production. Tercer punto, didáctica para el desarrollo de las siguientes capacidades de producción de textos en inglés. ¿Ok? Adapting context according to the communicative situation. Organizing and developing ideas in a coherent and cohesive way. Using written language convention adequately. Reflecting and evaluating the form, content, and context of written text. So, as you can see, we have this. We are going to work a lot during this, okay, during this period. Production, okay, we have producción de los diferentes textos, géneros textuales, como ya les mencioné. Enfoque didáctico para la enseñanza de la producción de textos escritos. Tenemos la elaboración de sesiones de aprendizaje y el uso efectivo de recursos y materiales. Quien le habla también es pedagoga, también capacita lo que es metodología, y justamente acá viene lo que viene la metodología. Tenemos etapas de la metodología, tenemos metodologías tradicionales como el Grammar Translation Method, Audiolingual Method, Suggestopedia, TPR, pero también tenemos metodologías modernas, como por ejemplo, tenemos el Eclectic Way, tenemos la metodología Communicative Language Learning, Communicative Language Teaching, tenemos también el CLIL, que es muy importante, y esta metodología de CLIL lo he aprendido en Estados Unidos, donde fui capacitada en el 2015, luego posteriormente viajé, y es importante porque he adquirido bastante conocimiento, pero no solamente es el adquirir conocimiento, sino es que ustedes también tienen que aplicarlo. ¿Cuál es la mejor manera que un profesional va a desarrollarse profesionalmente? De la manera por la práctica. Tienen que practicar. Todo lo que ustedes aprendan, practicarlo y llevarlo a clase. Y se van a acordar. En este caso tenemos enfoques didácticos, tenemos los tradicionales y los actuales. Y de los actuales también les vamos a hablar más adelante. Tenemos varias sesiones con inglés y también vamos a trabajar la elaboración de sesiones de aprendizaje, el lesson plan, la EDA, la experiencia de aprendizaje, el uso efectivo de recursos materiales y la evaluación, esa evaluación formativa, que tiene que ver bastante con la evaluación diagnóstica, la evaluación de proceso, la evaluación final, la evaluación formativa y la evaluación sumativa. Donde el profesor, en la evaluación formativa, el profesor es un coach, ¿ok? Y en la evaluación sumativa, el profesor viene a ser un judge, que es un juez porque va a emitir un juicio. ¿Y dónde se utiliza la evaluación sumativa? Al final de un semestre, al final de año, donde el profesor va a emitir su juicio. Primero, segundo, tercer año y cuarto año, A, B, C, ¿no? A, B, and C, o AD, ¿por qué no? Y para quinto año, pues tenemos las notas que tenemos que emitir, etc. Continuemos. Este es el temario y lo vamos a resolver. Hoy día vamos a trabajar una pequeña parte del writing, la siguiente clase vamos a trabajar el resto. Didáctica del product writing, didáctica del desarrollo de las siguientes capacidades de producción de textos escritos en inglés. Number 1, planning, drafting and revising. Recordemos esto. ¿Por qué planning? Porque toda producción escrita tiene que tener un plan, tiene que tener un borrador. Drafting, este borrador, la vamos a revisar 1, 2 y finalmente la vamos a revise. ¿Qué quiere decir revise? Voy a chequear. ¿Chequear qué? La gramática está bien, el vocabulario y el parágrafo. No olvidemos los linkings. los connectors, and, but. También vamos a trabajar producción de textos formales e informales. Tenemos textos formales. ¿Cuáles son los formales? Los emails, las cartas que presentamos a los jefes, o a una institución o a una universidad. Informales a nuestros amigos, colegas también. ¿Qué textos escritos podemos informales? Tenemos el email, tenemos las cartas, tenemos los postales, tenemos los writing, tenemos taking notes, tenemos los testimonios. Let's continue with this. Number 1, are you ready? Yes? Okay. Number 1 said, Jose's students are going to write a short essay on the advantages and disadvantages of having a pet. He has designed the following sequence. On the board, the teacher draws and shares and divides into the following categories. Advantages of having a pet and disadvantages of having a pet. In their notebooks, the student writes some ideas under each category. After that, the teacher tells the students that we have to make an outline using the ideas in the chart. Then, using their outlines, the students write their first version of the essay. Next, the teacher asks them to improve their first version by adding the topic sentences and supporting idea in each paragraph. Later, the students exchange their essays and correct all the mistakes they have. Finally, the teacher collects the essay. So as you can see, the teacher is collecting the essay. So what I want you to do is to analyze. I'm going to give you some minutes. Which writing skill needs to be improved and the sequence presented by Jose? Planning, drafting, or revising? Can you tell me, please? Could be planning, could be drafting, or could be revising? Come on, tell me. Can you tell me the answer? I'm going to give you some minutes to you. Just only remember the planning, and when you plan here, you have to plan how are you going to write the reading, for the writing. For example, the writing, you can use flash. Okay, you can use in the planning and show flashcard. You can make a draft. Okay, and also you have to organize. In the planning, you have to use brainstorming. You have to use mind map. In the drafting, you can make a draft. That is the first draft, first version, the second version. In revising, you check. Try to check the spelling mistake, the grammar, the punctuation, etc. Tell me, which writing skill needs to be improved in the sequence presented by Jose? One volunteer, thank you, Sheila. Sheila told me it's letter B. Sheila told me drafting. What about the rest? Come on, tell me that. Remember that here is Jose. Jose is improving. So Jose, what writing skill needs to be improved? Come on, tell me. What about you, the other participants? Can you write, please, the answer? Let's write the answer. Come on. No? Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. Sheila told me B. Okay, what about SM? Can you tell me? So let's revise also planning, because this is planning, no? Planning, no problem, because you plan. Okay, tell the teacher that we have to make online the using. Next, the teacher asks them to improve the first version. Okay, supporting idea each paragraph. Exchange. Then the revising, the drafting, they exchange, immediately exchange. Finally, the teacher collects. What is here? Come on. Volunteers. Okay, I'm going to give you the answer. And the answer is letter Letter C. Yes, you know why letter C? Okay, it's not drafting. Why not drafting? Because in drafting, the teacher checked the mistake, the first version, the second version. Yes, planning, it was excellent, the planning, because the teacher divided the class into, divide the board in two parts. Advantages of having a pet, and the other was disadvantages. And the student have to write an idea under each category. Do you remember? That was the planning. Drafting, okay, why drafting? Because in the drafting, the teacher, okay, made the student to check the first version, the second version. For example, next the teacher asked them to improve the first version. So you know, improve by adding the topic sentences and supporting idea in it. So here it mentioned the first version. And also you have a student write the first version here, improve the first version here. So what I want you to do is pay attention, please. Maybe you can take a screenshot if you want. But here, when the teacher writes here on the board, pay attention. After that, the teacher tells the student to make an outline. Okay, here, this is the planning. Remember, you plan here. So, the planning is here. Number 2, what is the second step? The first version, the second version. What is here? The draft. The teacher is doing the draft. Okay, the draft. Finally, the teacher exchanges, okay, the teacher made the student to exchange their essays to collect, no? This is the end, to collect, okay, to correct all the mistakes they find. Finally, the teacher collects, yes, collect. Collect, finally, which is missing? Exchange. You know what is missing? Is missing the, come on, write in the chat box. I told you the answer now. It's letter. Come on, I told you the answer. Now, this is the planning. Remember, you have the planning. Here you have the draft, and which is missing? Come on, it's the SM, and also Shayla, can you write it, please? All right, yes, you know what is letter C. Letter C is the revising, because here is no revising. The student is not revising anything. Remember, revising is so important, because the student have to check the mistake. They correct the mistake in the first version, the second version. They see the punctuation, etc. Thank you. Let's continue with the other case. The other case is the stage of writing. When you have this kind of process of writing, you have 3 processes, I told you. The first one is, do you remember the first one? Okay, come on, you can interact with me in the chat box if you want. The first one is before writing, while writing, and after writing. So just remember this kind of way. So you have this kind, 3 kind of process. Okay, now, when you have this kind of process, I want you to tell you, you have 3. Okay, and don't forget that these 3 kind of process before. What do you do when it is before? Can any volunteer can write, please? What is before? Before is when you make the plan. Okay, and the second, when is the second? The second stage is when you use the draft. And the third stage is for revising, to check the mistake, okay, to revise, punctuation, everything, and then finally you can publish. You can publish. There is a process, remember. I'm going to share it now, and let's going to share it with you. Okay, I told you this because that is so important to do it for you. The 3 stages are here. So now let's work one of them. When you have the first stage, okay, is the pre-writing, which is before. In before you have collection ideas, purpose audience. You can do in this idea, you can do it through, okay, through what? Through brainstorming. You can do it through brainstorming, through mind map. While writing is organization, draft, tone, cohesion, and coherence is important coherence. Post-writing or after writing is revising. Don't forget revising. Or proofreading when you publish your writing. So I'm going to give you another idea for this. Why? Because here you have the pre-writing, which is planning. Remember, it's related. Pre-reading, planning. While writing, what is while writing? Any idea? Do you remember? The draft, the first version, the second version, or the third version. So the second stage, and while writing, is the draft. The third stage, post-writing, which is after writing. And after writing, you are going to have revising. Obviously, you're going to revise the punctuation, everything. Check and correct the mistakes in revising. That is related. Just remember, I want you to keep in your mind these three stages. Do you remember when the teacher motivates the students to write some comments under each advantages? Do you remember the first part of the board was write advantages of having a pet? And the other, write disadvantages of having a pet. So in that plan is planning. That is pre-writing, because it's planning through a chart. Could be through a brainstorming, mind map, or a chart, or why not through a spider web, and a spider chart could be. Second, while writing, when the teacher made the student to check the first version and to correct the first. The third one is the post-writing. We checked this, and it was missing on this, okay? Now, please, I would like you to turn off your microphone because some students are using. Please, but dear participant, why don't you turn off your microphone? Thank you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that because that is important. Okay, well, I want to tell you with these three stages, now we can did it very well. As I told you, here we have the three stages. So let's continue. Planning, drafting, and checking. When you have writing process, you have pre-writing, you have while and revising. In pre-writing, the purpose and audience, brainstorming, form. Writing is organization, voice, sentence fluency, responding, teacher and peer conference, self or peer evaluation. Why peer evaluation? Because you are going to evaluate, okay, the students are going to be evaluated among themselves. Revising, which is in the third stage, after writing, you have to clarify, reorganizing, refine, using precise language. Edicting, you are going to edict. And finally, you are going to publish it. Where? Bulletin board, websites, performance, author share. When we were on the pandemic time, okay, so many students have published it where in the, okay, maybe they can do it through in this part, electronic bulletin board, yes? Remember, or maybe the website, or maybe the platform, or cubicle, because there are many here, many places where the student publish there, okay? Or maybe sometimes, why not in the WhatsApp? Some students publish it, they're writing in the WhatsApp. Okay, are you ready? Yes, ready? Okay, now let's start. Number one. Miguel's students have been working on different kinds of written issues during the past few weeks. He has planned the following sequence to reinforce a student writing skill. Number one, pay attention. The teacher shows some products the students did in the last 3 weeks about describing physical appearance. Write a couple of sentences in present simple using describing adjectives. Paste pictures of people and write sentences under each verb. Then tell students to write a short paragraph describing people's physical appearance. Finally, collect the papers once the student finish. Yes? Remember that this is a kind of method, so you have to take into consideration your method. Traditional method, or could be okay, we have the modern method. Yes? The answers are, pay attention, A, B, or C. The question is, which teaching method to writing is developed in sequence above? A, presentation, practice, and production. Task-based learning or total physical response. So I want you to remind this, to refresh your mind. TPR, okay, what is TPR? Total physical response. Is when you made the student to use the language through actions. The student listen and they do action. Task-based learning. Do you remember task-based learning? If you don't remember, no problem, we're going to do it now. PPP, presentation, practice, and production. This is very common. PPP is related to this kind. Presentation, P, practice, P, production, P. Presentation through a context, practice, accuracy, and production, the fluency. You are going to get these 3 important facts. As you know, what does PPP stand for? I told you. Presentation, practice, and production. Let's remind this. PPP is a successful teaching method that is widely used through the world and many EFL and ESL. Teachers, okay, every PPP lesson has a language aim, which students should fulfill by the end of it. The PPP can be applied to teach grammar items, functions, vocabulary, and even pronunciation. But which is more common? Grammar. When you want to teach grammar or functions, you have to use PPP. P, presentation. The teacher introduces a situation and presents the target language in context. Remember. Number 2. The student uses the target language and make sentences in their own. That is own sentence. Okay, here. Which is the correct answer? Can you tell me? Presentation, task-based learning, or total physical response? Come on, write the answer. Okay, remember the teacher can produce and the students did in the last 3 weeks. And then. Okay, here write a couple of sentences. Present simple. When you write a couple of sentences, what do you use? A, says Sheila. Okay, thank you. Morris, A. Chumpitas, A. Yes, A. That is the answer. You know why is the answer? What is the keyword? Do you remember the keyword? Or no? I want you to know the keyword presentation. Because here is present. The teacher is presenting. Okay, and the keyword is present simple. Okay, another keyword is using adjective. Okay, paste the picture. That is a practice. Practice here, right? Tell the student to write a short paragraph describing people, physical appearance, describing. That is a production. So you have P, presentation, P, practice, and the last one, P, production. So you have the 3 P, PPP, presentation, practice, and production. Sorry. It's not total physical response. It's not task-based learning. Impossible. Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much for participating in this. Let's continue the next one. Please pay attention because there are some clues, some keywords. Hugo wants his students to improve their writing skill through the following sequence. The teacher writes poor air quality on the board. Then he asks two questions. What do you know about this topic? And how could we solve this problem? What is the keyword? Do you know the keyword? Do you recognize any keyword? The keyword is this. Okay? Remember that you have poor air quality. Another keyword is you have what is the solve? We have to solve this topic, solve the problem. So you see? The student work in pairs and answer both questions. The student write some of the parents' idea on a wallpaper. Then the teacher asks the student to look for information to increase the solution. Listen, you have to highlight the important keywords. Poor air quality is an issue, a problem. What is the solution? Okay, the solution is that you have to have any solution. So the teacher motivates the student to look information to increase the solution. Okay, then they make up with and they go to the school library and take notes to some relevant idea. Okay, they have relevant idea for solution. Next, the students come back to the class in pairs and choose the best idea. Another keyword to solve the problem. Remember, when you have this, okay, the teacher asks them to work on a short test to present an idea to the class. Okay, obviously, at the end of the class, the student have to present. Please, any volunteer to tell me which is the correct answer? Okay, based on the sequence above, which of the following teaching methods is involved in Hugo's sequence to develop writing? PPP, presentation, practice, and production, task-based learning, or problem-based learning? Okay, we have one answer. Thank you for your participation. C, say Maurice. Okay, all right, Maurice. Chumpitas, the letter C. Yes, the letter C. You know why is letter C? Why is letter C? Because letter C, you have a problem. When you look at problem, please, I want you here to see. Remember, the traditional method said, told what we need to know, memorize it, problem assigned to illustrate how we use it, yes? But when we have this kind of problem-based learning, so the key word for you is to solve the problem. As you see, I'm gonna make you to see, solve the problem. Please try to take into consideration solve. You have a problem. What is the problem? Do you remember the problem? Poor air quality. Okay? So when you have this problem, you have base and solution. The teacher motivates the student to look for to increase the solution. Then they come back to the class and they bring some ideas to this. Obviously, we as an English teacher, we have to choose the best idea to solve the problem. So, as you know, what is that? Okay, here. Problem-based learning. Problem assigned, identify what we need to know. And the end, we solve the problem. Obviously, that this is letter C. Okay, as you have here, letter C. I want you to highlight letter C. Just give me 1 minute to highlight letter C. Thank you. Thank you very much for this. So the correct answer, as you know, is letter C. I'm going to circle this, letter C. Problem-based learning. Just remember the key words. A problem, look for solutions, solve the problem, the best ideas to solve the problem. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm very, very happy to be here at the mountain. We are working on making you better, okay? For sure, you are going to have good results for your teacher evaluation. Let's continue. The next case, remember this is case. Emerson will get his student involved in writing by having them an email, a contemporary writer, day and night. He has designed the following sequence. The teacher asks for students' favorite young adult contemporary books and take notes on the board. After that, the teacher asks the students to do some research on the writing on their favorite book. They go to the computer lab to make a brief research on the web. So you know, here you have a task. When you have a task, you have to take into your mind that you are going to receive as an option a task. The next task. Later, the teacher tells them that they are going to write an email, another task, to their favorite young adult contemporary writer to comment on his or her work. Keyword. What is the keyword here? Work. Okay, don't forget here, make a brief search. Another task, take notes, okay, on the board. So you have tasks. When you have tasks, you have to remember this task-based learning. The next one, in their notebooks, they list the comments that they would like to send. Using their list, the student write an email draft. So you see, write an email, another task. While the teacher monitors the activity, helping out when necessary. Then the teacher pairs up the students. Aha! Remember, you have pair up the students to work in pairs. Another keyword. Ask them to share the comments that they wrote. Analyze, remember. When you have analyzed, immediately think that it is task-based learning. Why? Because you have tasks and then you analyze. When you have this method, task-based learning, the teacher motivates the student to analyze. For me and for you, underline, highlight the keyword, analyze. The language included in their draft. Finally, the student look for the author's contact information and send him or her the final version of the email. So you know. Okay, let's continue. What about the answer? Tell me. We have some questions. The question is, number one, in the teaching sequence above, what is the teaching method applied? Task-based learning, presentation, practice and production, or content-based learning? Come on, I would like you to write in the chat box the alternative. Go ahead, come on. This is piece of cake. Okay, thank you. Thank you for this. Okay, yes, obviously, that the correct answer is the letter A, B, or C. Come on, tell me the correct answer. Yes, as you know, the correct answer is task-based learning. Why task-based learning? Because the teacher is working with tasks at the beginning, at the second, and the third step. Okay, and the keyword is based. And also because task-based learning has a different stages. I'm gonna show you later. Okay, thank you. Okay, yeah, let me see. I'm gonna share it now. As you can see it, Now, is it okay? Here, yes, in the teaching sequence above, what is teaching method applied? Task-based learning, presentation, practice, and production. Okay, or here you have. The last one is content-based learning. Okay, obviously, of course, that is task-based learning. Presentation, no, because you are not teaching grammar. You are not working with grammar. They are not working in PPP presentation, in a context, no? They are not writing sentences, no. They are analyzing. For that reason, it's task-based learning. So let's see, and let's continue with the next one, okay? Just give me 1 minute because I'm going to give you the reason. This is the reason. Remember, when you have task-based learning, you have 3 steps. You have the pre-task, task cycle, and you have the language focus. When you have the pre-task, there is an introduction to the topic, there is motivation, and okay, learners may be exposed to the example. In task cycle, which is the middle, that is the while stage. You have tasks, planning, and report. In the task, the teacher is going to make the student work in tasks. Planning, the teacher is planning. The accuracy is important here. So the teacher stand by and give advice here. It's motivate the student, yes? In this task, there is a report. Yes, that report, the student exchange and present reports. Teacher listen and then comments. And the last stage is language focus. When in language focus? When the teacher analyze, remember. Do you remember the word analyze? Okay, this is analyze. Analyzation is so relevant here. So remember, task-based learning has to be with analyzing, analyze this. Practice. Teacher conducts and practice of new work. So now, yes, it's easy, it's not difficult. This is piece of cake. Let's continue with the next one, okay? Remember this. Pre-task, task-based learning is a pre-task, introduction, task cycle, task, planning, and report. Language is analyze, remember, the keyword. That is pre-task, task cycle, and language. Let's continue with the next one. Okay. Just give me. Okay, let's continue. There is another case, yes? If you have any question, don't forget to write in the chat box. This is the same example. Do you remember the example about Jose's students are going to write an essay, the advantages and disadvantages of having a pet? Yes? Do you remember that the teacher divide the word into the following category? Yeah. It's the same case. Yes, the same case. But there is another question. There is another question. What is the question? Which approach which approach to writing is Jose promoting? Gender approach, product approach, or process approach? Do you remember? Could be product approach. Is he using a production or is a process approach? Let's continue. Now here you have advantages and disadvantages as a motivation. Then tells that to have to make an outline, ask them to improve the first version and the second version, and then they have to exchange. So what is here? Gender, product approach, or process? So the answer is here. The answer is here. Is the process approach or no? Do you remember the process approach? Which is here? Any volunteer to tell me? Come on, can you tell me? No? Very easy. It's very easy. Product, no product exactly. You know, because you don't have a product. It's not a product. It's a process approach. You know what is process? Because it's a process. Before you have plan, you have the first version, and then you have the revised. That is a process approach. Don't forget that here you have the process approach. Why process? Because emphasis on create, collaborate, more than one, and starting a point. Yes? Because here you have a follow a process. So now I want you to see the process approach. What is the process? Pay attention. We're going to watch the video. Just remember this. As you know, here we have, in the fourth stage, you have pre-writing, which is the planning. Remember, pre-writing is planning. Drafting is the while, okay, and finally revising. That is the process. This is a process. When in production, when you do the activity, when you are doing the activity, when you are resolving, when you are producing, so the teacher motivates the student to do the process. Yes, to this kind of process. They are talking about it. So let's continue with this. Remember. So here in teacher evaluation at Amauta, you are going to be motivated with these cases because you are going to have cases. Okay, you are going to have real example from the teacher evaluation by Minedu. And also you have video in order to be motivated, to understand better. And just remember, because I know that you are learning a lot with writing, yes? Let's continue, the second. This part is so relevant. Why? Because in this stage 4, you have pre-writing, drafting, and revising. After that, you have to edit. Yes? Okay, the student received, okay, for example, the student received their written, okay, check, and the student are going to edit this. Okay, I have a mistake, I'm going to edit it. Finally, when it is edited, you are going to publish it. Where are you going to publish it? You can publish according to according to your teacher. Maybe you can publish it on the bulletin board. Nowadays, we are face-to-face classes. So we have a bulletin board in the classroom. Maybe in or out of the classroom, you can put it there in order to motivate a student, okay? And to see how he or she is writing. Publishing is very important. It motivates the student to continue writing and improve the writing. Remember, as much as you write, you are going, okay, as much as you are write, you are going to produce letters, okay, emails, formal and informal, testimony, okay, you're going to write paragraph, okay, why not an essay, why not an opinion? Yes, remember. Let's continue. This is another case. Listen, Alonso wants to assess the written production of the third, okay, of his third grader. Since Father's Day was celebrated last week, he tells them to write a paragraph about the activities that they did during that day. The best paragraph will be published on the bulletin board, you know, bulletin board. Jessica handled in the first draft of her test. On the last Father's Day, my family and I prepared delicious lunch. We spent a good day. Spend? No. The key word. Which is the key word? Spend, no? Why? Oh my gosh, spend, no? Another key word, publish, no? Bulletin board. On the Father's Day, my family and I prepared delicious. Come on, you tell me your answer. Tell me your keyword. Another keyword. Okay, thank you. Then we invite our relative. Another keyword here. On the morning. Oh my gosh, it's on the morning. Are you sure on the morning? Keyword. We clean. Another keyword. Do the shopping. Oh my gosh, I love this. Cooked on the morning again. We eat. Oh, come on. And then it was nice. So you see, which of the following aspects should the teacher prioritize of the revision of this test? You have prioritize. You have to take into consideration the most important. Which is the most important? A, verb tense. B, punctuation, comma, this, preposition. Or you can take preposition. So maybe you say in the morning. Okay. Which is better? Which is the most important should a teacher take into consideration? Come on, tell me. A, B, or C? Thank you. Thank you so much for writing. Okay, Maurice said A, C, no. Okay, A, say C, no. Yes. Excellent, Maurice. Thank you, Sheila. That is the verb tense. So you have to prioritize the verb tense, which is more important here, the verb, not the preposition, is the verb. Punctuation, no, is better the verb. Okay, thank you. So you see, you are advancing. Only we have here 2 hours and you are better in 2 hours. Congratulations. So let's continue the other case. Okay, here you have Alejandro is going to teach his student how to write a formal letter using the product approach. Product, remember, production. He has planned the following teaching sequence. First, the teacher puts the student in groups. Give each group a sample formal letter. Based on this example, the groups analyze the formal and expression used in formal letter. Then, the teacher elicits, okay? Remember, the teacher elicits from the student the parts of the formal letter, salutation, body, and closer, and writes them on the board. In their notebooks, the students make an outline and their letter taking into account the part of a formal letter. Then, individually, The student write a formal letter considering the sample analyzed at the beginning as well as the outline. Finally, the teacher collects a letter for correction. So remember this, the teacher collects a letter for correction. So according to this, which of the following product approach stages is missing in the Alejandro's teaching? Modeling, control, organizational ideas, which is missing? Modeling, modeling, no. You know why no? Because it gives you an example, no? Modeling. Control practice or organization of ideas. Any volunteer, come on, right? Okay, thank you for your answer. Letter B, says Sheila Chumpitas. Thank you. Yes, Chumpitas, excellent. Letter B, congratulations, is control practice. Why? Because the teacher, we as an English teacher, we have to control this kind of practice. So let's give you why. Let's give you the reason. Why is control practice? Okay, now let's continue. In this slide, you are going to have this kind of control. Okay, remember, control practice is when you have the teacher have to be the teacher central. Pre-practice, the student central, no control. Pre-plan, objective, predicted, student responses. Pre-practice, the student open-ended and unpredicted student. So here is control practice because the teacher have to help the student, have to control in the wider stage. Let's remember that in control practice, the teacher is teacher-centered. In free practice, no, it's the student-centered. In control practice, there is an structure. In free, open-ending. Here you have predicted student response, and free is unpredicted response. Here you have. Semi-control, it is a use of the language, is a less restrictive way than the control, but taking into account linguistics pattern already set up by the teacher. Remember. So the correct answer is control practice. Thank you, Maurice, for that. Okay, in order to conclude, I'm going to give you 2 extra cases. But these cases is not reading, is not writing, but it's grammar. You know why? Because grammar is one part. It's important part of reading and writing. For that reason, I included grammar. And the teacher evaluation has grammar. Choose one of the alternatives to complete the given sentences by the correct preposition. Sentence. He was surprised the way people from his new office welcomed him. On the way, people, by the way, people, or in. Come on, tell me the answer. Thank you, Chumpitas. Okay, thank you, Sheila. You did it very well. It's letter B, by. You know why by? Because this preposition has to be with one of the most important parts here. You have preposition by because you have a real sentences like this. For example, she was surprised by the books succeed. Yes? Oh my God, surprised by. It was a medium, no? It was a medium by a book succeed. And also because you have to remember the similar word surprising. Another similar is surprisingly, enterprise, free, enterprise, comprise, advise, hypothesize, arise, meaning. Taking an awareness or suddenly a feeling wonder of astonishment. Do you remember this word? Astonishment. We were surprised by the news. Yes. Do you remember 2 years ago when we were teaching at the school and we were surprised by COVID-19? They told us to go home only 15 days, but We were at home 2 years. So we were surprised by the news about COVID-19. So that is a real example. Try to do this kind of example with your students. Real example, it could be memorable for them and for you. Number 2, I was surprised by the intensity of his anxiety. Okay, thank you. This is the last one. Choose one of the alternatives to complete the given sentences by the correct verb form. A ring. This is my ring. Look. A ring. Can you see my ring? Yes. A ring to John by Mary. It was an incredible experience for her. Which is alternative? A. B. Okay. Given to John was being gave to Joe by Mary. A ring was given to John by Mary, or it was an incredible experience for her. Which is the correct answer for you? Come on, tell me your answer. A, B, or C. Okay, thank you. Okay, you did it very well. So the correct answer is letter C. You know why? Because a ring was given to Joe by Mary. Oh my gosh. So when you have, okay, letter B, yes? Letter B you say, and letter C. No, the correct answer is letter C. Yes, you know why letter C? Because this is passive voice. Don't forget, when you have passive voice, the most important is the object. And what is the object? The ring. The ring was given to Joe by Mary. Oh my God. It was an incredible experience for her. Okay, let's continue. Why? When you have, remember, passive voice, present simple, is when you have active voice, you have he opens the door. Yes, yeah. But in active voice, the most important part is he. Okay, but in the passive voice is the opposite. You change. The door is opened by him. This is more important, the door is opened by him. Now, let's continue with the past, because the example was about the past, yes? Passive voice with past. John washed the dish yesterday. So this is active voice. The passive is when you change, yes? The dishes were washed by John yesterday. Another example, the professor taught the students the last summer. The students were taught by the professor the last summer. So in this case, the objective student is more important. Remember that this is the passive voice. Okay, so the example of this is a ring was given to John. Thank you. Thank you very much for your participation. Just remember this. Okay, this is the last part. See you the next week. Okay, I hope that you really like it. Thank you, Amauta, for helping me a lot and for giving me the invitation. Okay, and dear participants, tell me and I forget. Show me and I remember. Involve me, I understand. Okay, that is important for you. And remember that metacognition is so relevant for you. You can do it. And also, I want to tell you this. Thank you for paying attention here, okay? Thank you so much. I want to tell you thank you to you. Thank you, Amauta, for helping me. Muchas gracias, Amauta, por la invitación y por la confianza. Estoy muy contenta. Ese es la primera clase y vamos a vernos the next class, las siguientes semanas. Thank you very much and goodbye. Have a nice night. Bye-bye.